She makes me wanna take her down.
Next question. It says, hi, LEZ Factor family. Me and my boyfriend have been dating 10 months. When we first met, she was a stud with feminine qualities. Now she wants to sell her makeup and girly clothes. She wants to be transgender in order to fit society's gender roles and use he and him. I love her, but I feel like if she turns into a he, then a piece of her would be a memory. What would you do if you were in my situation?
That's such a
Felice.
Who's going first?
Felice is going first.
Love is love. I've lived with some transgender folks, and they're amazing. So, you know, love is love. So, I mean, if you feel like you can love and support that person, no matter what transition they go through, then do it. If not, then don't.
Nadia?
I would have to agree. As a lesbian, I have spoken to a trans man before. But at the end of the day, I am a lesbian. I like women. I like eating vagina. So I can't. Feel me? You know what I mean? Like, but like, if you love somebody, then you do what you gotta do because you love them. So that's my answer. If you love him, then you continue to love him and you support him.
Tay?
I feel like people evolve, so I think in relationships where at a certain point in time we're different people. So it's up to you to decide if you're okay with being with that person, and is that person okay with being with you? You guys might both decide that you guys are no longer for each other as the both of you transition into new people. So.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I do feel like as people, we're ever changing. Like, we're constantly evolving. I think the part of that question that was a little disturbing was the part where it says that he wants to transition because of societal pressure and societal norms. Is it something that he really wants to do or something that he feels pressured to do? Right. So is this person evolving because they feel it inside, like that's what they need to do, or because they're feeling pressure from some external force? You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of other questions that need to get asked before like all this other shit happens. You know what I mean? But I guess to basically answer the question, like I said, you know, you if you love someone for who they are, yeah, you're gonna lose pieces of who people are as they grow, but they're still ultimately that person. You know what I mean? The essence of the person doesn't change. You know what I mean? They change, but not the essence. Who they are is always gonna be who they are. You know, so you just keep loving them.
Amira?
I like that last phrase, who they are is who they are, because as far as like transgender, and I have my different viewpoints on it. I've touched on it on my show, and I feel like I feel like this day and age, a lot of people are coming out as transgender because one of the main reasons they're insecure with their body and who they are as a person, and they feel like, oh, because you know, I play this dominant role in this lesbian relationship that, oh, I'm a guy and I feel like I'm a guy. But people, I feel like they confuse transgender with who they think they are. Transgender, is not something that, oh, I'm 30 years old and I feel like I should be a man. Transgender, you knew from a young age, I'm not this person who I feel I am.
Right.
It's not something that just happens.
Right.
It's something that you've always known. Like I had someone I went to high school with, and now, you know, we're the same age. She's 29 and she's like, oh, I'm transgender. And no, you're not, because I grew up with you. I knew you from when we were 12 years old, and you always knew you were lesbian. She was always this dyke kind of masculine role, but now that we're 30, personally in my eyes, I don't feel like when you're 30, oh, I'm transgender. I feel like transgender is a mental thing. It's something you've always known. It's not something you can just pick up on, I'm transgender.
But at the same time, how do you know that she was always open with you? Like, how do you know that
no,
she was always open?
It's not even about me personally. It's everyone she's known, it's her family. It's just knowing her as a person and comparing to transgenders I know as of now. And people, you can just kind of know. It's something you just pick up on. People, if you are a lesbian and you're a dyke and you're kind of you play that masculine role, but you still consider yourself as a woman, and you play basketball, you know that at a young age. But you also know if that person considers themselves as a male, and they can carry themselves at that way at a young age. So I feel like now, as you know, we're approaching 30 years old, I don't feel like transgender or role is something as you're 30 years old you just come up with. I think transgender is something that people confuse it. I really think they confuse it. And transgender is honestly something, it's a mental thing. It's not something you just come up with, oh, I feel like I'm a man. No, it's really you from day one or whenever, a young age, you have these notions, you feel like you're not in this body, and it's not something that society chooses. It's not something I'm not confident with myself, and I feel like I should be a guy because I'm whatever, because I'm fat or I'm insecure, and I play this male dominant role in a lesbian relationship. No, it's really a mental thing, and I feel like people now that is so open with with transgender things is so open that people just come out and they're not really transgender. That's just my opinion. I feel like people just come out because it's something popular, something going on right now, and they're insecure. Yeah, transgender is something you know at a young age. That's the difference. That's to me what the difference is. You know. It's not something you just pick up on, oh, yesterday. Oh, I feel like I was a guy, so I'm going to be a guy. No, that's not something you just do. I feel like with transgender, they know you feel that in you. Not even saying when you're a baby, but you feel it at a young age, and that's the difference between transgender and, a male-dominant lesbian. Mm-hmm. You just know.
What if you feel like you just didn't have the proper education? Because I have trans friends that they just weren't aware that this existed.
What that was, yeah.
So they felt like something was different about them, but there was no term, there was no label, there was
like I said, I feel like that's something because they feel like that's what society presented, and that's what they open their eyes to. Oh, that's what I am.
I don't think we have,
I feel like transgender is not something you're going to see. It's not something you see on TV. It's not something you catch and say, oh, that's me. That's something, it's really in you. That's the thing between, it's a mental and a physical thing. That's like a drag queen versus a gay male. You know what I'm saying? You know what a gay male knows what he is. He's a gay guy. But he knows he has this, this drag queen life, and he wants to perform. I feel like a lot of masculine lesbian women feel like they need to portray this trans lifestyle because that's just how they think mentally. Because I play this dominant role, but that's not really who you are. Especially when you come at it in a late lifestyle. That's my main thing. I guess when you come at it so late in your life, it's like, that's not really who you are.
Or it's an evolution of self.
But who's to say your evolution is like 40 years old? You know what I'm saying? Before it's transgender. That's the thing, transgender, you feel transgender is, I was born with this body. This is not my body.
Like everyone's experience
no,
is
real
different.
life though. Realistically,
You're
I'm 40 years old. I'm 40 years old.
This is what it is.
I'm 40 years old. I've lived 40 years old with a fucking vagina as a woman. And now that, I'm 40, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm a man. That's the thing with transgender. It's way before. It's before your sexuality. It's before everything. And I don't think it's that simple either. But I'm saying I feel like transgender is way before your age. Before your age. I don't think it's something that happens with society. But I feel like a lot of people are coming out as transgender because it's more acceptable.
Exactly.
You have the Kate Diller, you have your the girl from Orange is the New Black. It's more acceptable, so you see a lot of people coming out.
I feel like
you see a lot of people coming out as
slightly, you have a closed-minded view on it, though.
Now.
I understand what you're saying. Like, you can't just wake up 30 years after you've been born and be like, I'm transgender. But what they're saying is that everybody didn't have the resources, so they could have felt this way from the time they were younger, but didn't understand what was going on. And yes, that's when you have the knowledge. Just like a person that's dealing with depression. I don't know what depression is. I know that this is different. I know I shouldn't be feeling this way. Right. And I'm not comparing transgender to depression. I'm just using that as an example. So what they're saying is that, it's just totally different.
No, I get that. Sometimes you come into some certain things at a late age, like just even as far as being gay. Sometimes you come late in your life, like, this is what I am. But I feel like transgender is just something that is not. It's just not found at a late age. that to me is a mental thing. It's, you know, at a young age, you know, at a certain point in your life, this is
And
not
that's
me.
and that's what they're saying.
It's not something
But
that,
you
I'm just
you have to put a title on it.
you know what I'm saying? It's not. I don't think it's something you stumble upon. I guess.
But it's not.
It's
It's not a
a gay
stumble.
out of nowhere.
This is
It's
like having a child, and your child is like, your child wants to be something, right? And they're like, okay, well, I can draw this, that, and the other, but they don't know the word
Right.
artist.
Yeah.
They want to be that, so they
Yeah.
have to grow into that. They have to have knowledge of what an artist is.
And that's
When kids didn't have this, but they felt like, oh, I'm a woman, but I feel like I'm a male. If they didn't know what that meant. They just felt this way. That's what they're saying. But I understand. I feel like a lot of people are changing because it's the next fad. It's like,
Yeah,
oh my
it's
gosh,
trendy.
like. Yeah, I understand, but that's not for
also-
everybody.
That's not for everybody.
That's
That's
not
like
like
it's
that.
not for everyone. It's just that you kind of have to base your
But
viewpoint on that.
to answer the question, you do love the essence of that person. That person's not going to completely change. You still continue to love him, respect his wishes. I mean, you have to talk to this person. You have to understand where they came from, when they began to feel this way. And, you know, that's pretty much, you know, how y'all get through it. But you have to continue to love that person. You can't just say, oh, I'm not going to love you because you no longer want your vagina or whatever, you know. And, you know, that's something you have to work out with that person.
I don't know. To me, in the question, the person sounds confused themselves about how they feel about it, because they go between him, her, she, him, that. I'm like, I don't even know if you know what transgender is, and you live with a transgender person.
Seems like it was kind of sprung on this woman. Because
yeah.
she's like, okay, this person was feminine at first, she said that, and now they want to get rid of all their feminine clothes, makeup, blah, blah, blah.
I guess that
It's
was
like,
more
this
so
was
my
just
point
sprung
of
up
view, too.
on
It was
me.
like kind of like, oh, I'm a transgender now.
So I mean, I understand everybody saying you love the essence of the person. The essence doesn't change, but it does. They change a lot. I've seen people on hormones; their personality changes.
Well, on hormones is completely different.
Well, if
Like,
you're transgender and you're
you could transition without going on hormones.
I don't know anybody who's transitioned without hormones.
No, I have
personally.
though.
I'm
That's the
saying
thing.
personally.
As someone who's seen everything, I've seen someone who's grown up as a woman, and kind of as their teen years they felt themselves as a man and they transitioned and had the hormones. I've seen that. I've seen people who have transitioned and they have not had testosterone because they just know, they just feel it in themselves. They don't have to do that, or they don't necessarily like shots, or they don't like. Everyone has their own different point of view.
So why does it seem like you're so close-minded to it then?
No, not even
You've seen all
close-minded.
this.
I'm not. That's the thing. I've seen it all. My whole thing, I guess, is the coming of age story. I guess it's the time and just the. It's just a point in that person's life. But to me, I don't feel like it's something because it's not. I can just see and I saw this girl from Orange is the New Black, so I'm trans. You know, I feel like literally transgender is a mental thing. I don't think it's something you can just hop into.
Yes, Tay. What would you like to add?
One, I think it's very dangerous to tell somebody when they cannot start to identify as something because you stop people from being who they want to be.
Yes.
The reason why it's important to have these Orange is the New Black characters and all of the Vernon Cox and these people, because it makes people comfortable to come out. So you might see it as a fad, but it might be, oh wow, there's representation for me.
So now it's okay.
I can be who I want to be. So I think that I would really steer clear from telling somebody that at 70, if you decide you want to be trans, do you?
But you don't know what they dealt with. You
Right.
don't know what they
It might be
battled with.
uncomfortable.
Throughout their
And
whole
like
life.
stepping big themselves, like.
Well, I'll answer the question. And in your situation, I don't know that I would continue to be able to date that person. Like I stated, like on 50,000 episodes before, I'm a lesbian. I date
I'm
lesbians.
sorry. Yes,
So if you're a trans man and you're now a man, I can't date you. I respect you. I respect your
You
decision.
come out as a trans, you're not a trans.
I respect your decision, but I can't date you because I'm a lesbian, so I can't date somebody who's a man. I respect you, so I'm gonna call you he, him. You're a man as far as I'm
To
concerned.
be supportive, you might decide that you
Yeah,
don't
I
want to
support
partake in
it.
it, but
I
to
like
tell somebody
eating
that can't do that,
vagina,
I wouldn't do that.
All right, moving on to the next question. So
It's just, yeah.
the conversation is heavy on the typical, says Eden. So we're gonna change it like another 180 degrees. She said, I would like to hear y'all talk about lesbians and hip hop. What's your take on those who are rappers and the content of their music? Do you have any favorite artists that happen to be lesbian? Felice?
Me.
Yes, you.
Lesbians, hip hop, women, lesbians.
Lesbian, hip hop, rap artists. Yes. And go.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that I really enjoy the Frida Gatz character on Empire. I don't know if she's a lesbian or not. If she is, that'd be great. But if not, it's okay.
That's what she was cast as.
Yeah.
Because Saya went for that part.
Really?
They were, yeah, she was going for the lesbian rapper on Empire.
Great. Good insight.
I like
Well,
that.
I really like that representation on television. In terms of other lesbians, I'm not hip to lesbian rappers. I'm pretty sure the rest of you guys are, or can
Tell me
school
sure
me. I mean, I love hip hop and I love women, so more power to them. I don't really know too much.
Nadia?
Man, I dated lesbian rappers. You know what's annoying? Yes, of course.
That was a plural on that. Plural.
This is a question just for her.
I did date Gaddis, and I love her to death. She's lit, actually. So y'all should check her out. But not to promote her.
Sit down for
Young Gaddis. Yeah, she's a rapper. But like, I mean, you know what's annoying is that when I start dating someone and then they come out like, oh, I rap, and it's just like, damn, you another stud rapper. Like, that's so annoying. Like, why so many of y'all? But you know what? It is what it is. Like, do what you gotta do. I support all of y'all. I don't mind. I appreciate someone with talent, whether it be rapping, whether it be painting, whether it be poetry, whatever it is. So, like, I don't have any. It is what it is.
No favorites?
Yeah. I mean, my favorite, of course, is Young Gaddis. Of course. And then King Pariah. But then, other than that.
Tay?
Yeah.
Representation matters. I support it. I can't say that I am well versed in lesbian rappers, but I do enjoy battle rap, so all the battle rappers. I love Queen of the Ring.
I do too. I feel like there's not enough lesbianism. Is that a word?
Lesbianism?
Ism in hip hop, period. Like, it's not mainstream at all. Well, gay, period, is not mainstream, right?
That
but
rap.
we know that, like, everyone, well, like, a lot of these rappers are kind of, but I do appreciate, what was that hip hop rap thing with Saya?
Sisterhood and hip hop?
Yes, that.
They're not all gay, but yes.
No. Well,
Just
they
her
had
on it?
Yeah, I appreciated that they had it, like, because it was kind of mainstream, and then like it boosted her career and all that, and I think that was cool. But I don't think it's represented enough, and I wish there was more of it.
Do you have any favorites?
I don't have. That was the question, wasn't it?
It was both. It was two parts.
Okay, sorry. Focus. I don't necessarily have a favorite. I don't think I have a favorite.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Amira?
Shout out to Fuzz Rico.
Yes.
Yes, I heard a ton of her songs on your show.
Rico, one of my favorite lesbians who's openly out as a lesbian artist. Other than that, honestly, I don't know too many, especially mainstream. I don't know many.
It wasn't mainstream. It was just favorite
Just
lesbian
period.
rapper.
I don't know any lesbian artists besides like Fuzz Rico. You got Ziggy. Your underground artists. I feel like a lot of artists, especially females like Nicki Minaj, they rap about having sex with a woman just to kind of get it out there as far as publicity, but it's not really many true lesbian artists who can really make it in the industry. It's hard, being a female rapper plus being a lesbian, it's very hard to kind of come through and do your thing, genuinely. Yeah.
Was she not a lesbian though? Was Nicki Minaj not a lesbian at first? Like,
I don't think
she
she's
was
true.
bisexual.
I think
She
she's
was bisexual.
kind of came out with the bisexual thing just to do it, but I don't think she was.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't think she was truly a lesbian.
I'm not trying to give her no shine right now.
I don't really care one way or the other. Care about her.
Team Kim.
Amy?
Yes, I really like lesbian hip hop. I would say my top 3 would be Look Alive.
oh yeah.
She was on Between Women.
Yeah, she
Temper.
yeah, Tampa.
King Pride.
Oh, right, King
Saya. Yeah.
So her top 3 is the top 4.
Four. I'm sorry.
Why did you say King Pariah?
Yes.
That's my
So yeah, as far as, did she ask what they talk about? What did she say?
No, she said that on our show, we're heavy on the typical.
Right.
FYI, we ask what our followers ask us. So whatever they ask us is what we answer. No, she was like, you're heavy on the typical, and she wants to talk about something different.
Gotcha. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, I thought it said something about what they talk about. I really like
it did say, what's your favorite take on those who are rappers and the content of their music? You were correct.
I can't really do the pussy stuff. That's why I like Look Alive. She's a poet. You know, so like she's like my favorite. I could listen to her all day and night because she makes me think about what I'm hearing. You know, and it's like why people love Tupac. You know, so like I think that she would be like that in the game, and she just really can move up. I love her for real.
I don't really have any lesbian favorite rappers. I mean, as far as people, like how they are as a person, Temper's a great person. She did some of our photography season 3. She's helped me out with a couple of jams with like club promoters and photos, and she's just been really like an awesome A1 person. Like as far as she's an awesome person. I met Ziggy. She was awesome and amazing in person. I met her. As far as like rappers and the content of their music, it's not something that I can usually relate to. Usually what they're talking about is, I don't know, it's some shit that I just really cannot relate to. Yeah, so I'm not gonna even lie. But as people, they're really awesome. They're approachable. You can talk to them, and they're nice. And they don't look approachable, but they are. So as far as people, they're great. As far as rappers, yeah, like I was telling you guys earlier, Neo Soul's my thing. I'm not really into rap like that. Like I'm not going to anybody's rap concert and standing there for 2 hours jumping up and down. Like it's not my thing. But anyway, so thank you for joining us for another episode of the LEZ Factor. We hope that you tune in, subscribe on YouTube. If you want to be part of the show, make sure to send your questions to thelezfactor@gmail.com. Shout out to the Mokata Museum and Geraldine for helping us use this space. Shout out to Graffiti Egypt for providing the artwork. And thank you to all of you guys for coming and participating. Join us for the next episode.